Penguin Random House Audio presents Enchanted August by Brenda Bowen, read for you by Sierra Boggess. June and July. Chapter 1. When Lottie Wilkes opened her eyes on the morning of June 13th, she congratulated herself on passing the 1-year mark without having had sex with her husband. Ethan sighed softly in his sleep. He turned over, draping an unconscious arm across her forehead. He was so dear in his sleep, the sweet, shallow breaths, the familiar, humid smell, the flutters behind the veiny lids. Lottie couldn't get enough of looking at him, so soft, so vulnerable. He grunted. Lottie remembered that it had been a year because almost exactly a year ago, the day before their anniversary, she and her husband had managed to find it in themselves to log some sack time, as he used to put it. Lottie had felt a little overlooked in that last exercise, as if she could have been anyone, and asked, "Can you kiss me like you used to?" "Jesus Christ, Lottie," he'd replied, before flinging off the covers and storming out of the apartment. Lottie had forgotten for the moment that he didn't like being asked to do things, and promised herself no sex unless there was kissing. A promise she'd been able to keep. Ethan opened his huge brown eyes. "Hi, Mommy," he whispered. "Shh, sweetie," said Lottie. "Don't wake Daddy." Ethan would turn 4 in September. This month, he was 3 3/4. He was precocious with fractions. He was not precocious about sleeping in his own bed. "Come on, sweetie," she told him in a whisper. "Let's get up." It was 5:42 a.m., and this June 13th was the 7th morning in a row that would have been better spent asleep. Summer officially started in 8 days, and yet it was gray, dreary, wet, cold. Animals would stay in their dens, birds in their nests, fish in whatever they slept in. Reefs? Ethan, of course, was impervious to weather. He could be relied on to wake up between 5:30 and 5:47 every morning, after having gone to sleep, screaming, under protest, somewhere shortly before midnight, and running headlong into their bed between 2:37 and 3:04. Ethan, of course, could take a 2-hour nap late every afternoon, and did. Lottie and John could not. Sleep deprivation is what really kills you about child rearing. Not spending time with their little selves or pushing them in strollers or talking seriously about whether doorbells are magic. That stuff is gorgeous. The killer is the 2 to 3 hour a night sleep regimen, not just once in a blue moon, but night after night after day after night. Sex was collateral damage, and truly, Lottie's life was easier without it. Less laundry, too. Lottie led Ethan to the bathroom. He was proud of his pull-ups, but not so proud that he didn't soak them just before daybreak. "Good boy," said Lottie enthusiastically when Ethan stood pleased and tall next to the potty, emitting nothing. "Good try." She adored him, and not just because they looked alike. Curly-haired, wide-eyed elves. She was stunned by the words in his little brain. She was struck dumb by the determination of his solid body. She marveled every time he framed a new idea. "Breakfast, Mommy," said Ethan this morning, and Lottie was overcome, as she was every morning. And as they did every morning, the early hours passed in a flurry of bananas and instant grits and Z100 and train videos on YouTube. John arose at 7:15, as he did every morning, and got dressed in his striving lawyerly suit and boxed shirt, and kissed them both on the cheek on his way out to work. "Bye, little buddy," he said to Ethan. "Happy almost anniversary, hun," he added to Lottie as he headed out the door, almost as if he, too, remembered, but not enough to want to do anything about it. "I'll be home on the late side." Whatever that meant. Lottie and Ethan busied themselves getting ready for preschool. 4 hours a day and $27,000 a year. That was the thought she had every morning as she pushed the stroller up the slope to Happy Circle Friends. $27,000 a year that she didn't make and John did, and that neither of them could put toward their college loans. And Happy Circle was the cheap one. This morning, the 27th...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?